Hi there, guys. Hey, listen, I'm going to make something yummy today, and I hope that you'll try it if you haven't already. If you like the takeout Chinese orange chicken, that's what we're making. And did you know this? The little tidbit info here that it's really not a Chinese made dish. How am I saying that? It was invented in a American restaurant. In a takeout restaurant. But I don't know why it's Chinese now, but I ain't arguing with it. I just like it. It's really good. And it's pretty easy if you have a couple key ingredients. Like you may not already have rice vinegar, but once you have it, it keeps a long time. So I have it. You probably have cornstarch. I happen to have fresh ginger, and I'm going to grate it, but you don't really even need it. You can use the stuff in a, the spice in the spice section of ground ginger, or this I keep in the fridge. Aldi sells this. It's so convenient. They also have, I think it's basil that squishes out, and garlic, that kind of thing for convenience. Because sometimes this gets a little weird, and I throw it in the freezer. Now this is a new pack of it, and I might share it with somebody because this is a lot. Okay, it doesn't take that much. Anyway, we're going to get going here. I'm going to try and turn the camera and kind of speed things up. I already washed my hands, but let me get my hair out of the way. Okay, let's go. Let's make some orange chicken. Okie doke. First thing we do in this bowl, we're going to do 4 egg whites. And we're just going to add a little bit to this. I know there's fancy things that don't do this, and I'm in a little bit of a hurry. Not much, but I have something else to do. I'm going to save the yolks and just do the egg whites in the bowl. Okay. And to this, we're going to just add a little bit of cornstarch and some salt and pepper. And ultimately, this is what the chicken's going to go in. Okay, just to soak. And get this going. Just back and forth until you get all that out. I feed the eggs to my crows. I can put the yolks in additional scrambled eggs or in a sauce or whatever. Oh, yuck, I made a mess. Doesn't matter. Get that going. And next is the cornstarch. Now that was 4 egg whites. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I like this big old container that I bought, and then I just refill it because I find those little boxes, 2 of these tablespoons. I find the little boxes quite messy because they have the wax paper type of paper inside, and cornstarch just likes to give us trouble and go everywhere. So I find it's a little neater if I use it in there. And then about a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of pepper. When I made this the first time, it called for white pepper. So I know I have white pepper somewhere in my pantry, in my second pantry, but I don't know where it is. So guess what? We're going to use black pepper, just a little bit in there. And that's to taste, of course. Okay. So I'll get this stirred up and I'll be back. We're going to use chicken thighs. Now these are the boneless, skinless. And I'm going to use like 4 or 5, and you just want bite-sized pieces. You can trim this and get rid of the fat. Again, that'll be for my cat as a treat, a little bit here and there, or for the crows. And this was that egg white mixture, okay? I'm going to put all those little chicken pieces in there, and then I'm going to make a sauce here, okay? Just let that dunk that in, and then set it aside. So next, we're using a different cutting board because when you use a protein like chicken, you don't want to use it for anything else, okay? So in a pot, in a saucepan, because this is going to go on the heat, we're going to have a few things in that. Some orange juice. Oops, I need a 1 cup measuring cup. So just about a cup. And then we're going to use also a few other things like, now you could juice an orange. And in fact, you might want to do that because we have to zest 1 orange. And here it is. It's kind of a big one. And, well, the sticker has to come off. But you can use a microplane Or just, if you don't have a microplane, just whatever you have is fine. Just get that zest off because it really makes a difference in cooking. I love fresh orange and scones. Some people scrape it that way. I do it this way. Just keep going around and around. The point is you don't want to get more than that off because then you're going to hit the white pith. And that white pith is very bitter. And you just want the sweet orange, okay? So get all the zest that you can, and don't forget the back of the microplane. And I won't waste this orange. Don't worry. It'll go in my water over the next couple of days, or if I have something else I want to put it in. No problem. Get all that goodness in there. And then a couple more things in this sauce. This sauce is worth it. It really is. It just has a few typical things that you would see in Asian cuisine. Next is rice vinegar. And like I said at the beginning, you know, it lasts a good long time. So we're going to put a 1/4 cup of the rice vinegar in there. Okay, and then next is soy sauce, I believe. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You can use light or dark, whatever you choose. And yeah, I'm using the same tablespoon, whatever. I always do that. It doesn't make a big difference. Okay, get that in there. It's starting to smell nice already. And then we're going to use brown sugar. The recipe had called for light brown sugar. You know me, I like to use the dark. But I actually made this brown sugar myself, just using white cane sugar and good molasses. If you do that, it's kind of like a 2-to-1 ratio. But what I say is just, and that's 1/3 cup, by the way. I just faked that, whatever. But if you make your own, put it in a food processor to really incorporate it, or even your stand mixer. It looks so much better like that. Okay, so we got all those in there. A little bit more. We're going to use the ginger. Now, I have fresh, like I said. You can use the, little rubbed or out of, oh, that smells good, though. If you have a little bit, just break off a little piece like this in the supermarket, and then you can always freeze the rest. But I take the back of a spoon. I saw that one time, and it really does work pretty good. And that way you don't waste a lot of the ginger root itself. And do you know what? When it's a giant piece all together, all bulbous looking, it's called a hand. So look how fast that was. I know it was off camera. Sorry about that. And I'm going to reuse the microplane and scrape it. And we just need a teaspoon because it is pretty strong. But vive la différence. It really makes a good, authentic tasting, fresh sauce. So I'm going to scrape until I get to that approximately 1 teaspoon. Again, cooking isn't baking. Cooking is like, I was off by a cup a little bit when I poured my orange juice. No big deal. You taste, you adjust, back and forth. I'm going to measure this and just see how much goes in this 1 little teaspoon. Yeah, that's about right. It's not heaping, but it's about right. I'm going to get all that goodies out of there, too. Out of that. It gets in the corners. There's a little orange zest in there and the ginger, of course. So we got that in there. Okay. Just stirring. I'll get this on the stove in a minute. And one time when I made this, to me, the sauce, even with the slurry, wasn't quite enough. So I'm adjusting here, and I'm going to put a little bit more cornstarch in the sauce, and it will thicken along with cooking it out, okay? So about a tablespoon. Yeah, give or take. That's good. Okay. And then I'll get this on the stove in a sec. Oops. My phone rang. Okay, onto the stove. Then the third thing, and it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. We got the chicken in the egg whites, Now it's like just 2 ingredients here. A little bit of water, 1/4 cup, and another tablespoon of cornstarch. We like our Chinese takeout. We always request, can you make it hot? Can you make it spicy? Whatever we order, and they comply. It's good. That's called a slurry, but it's not a real thick one. But we like the hot peppers. You can leave those if you want. Now that those are, I got to clean up. Here's some of the chicken in small portions, frying. There's our sauce in the back, and I made jasmine rice. And I put a big piece of fresh broccoli stem side down in there, and it will steam along with cooking the rice. So just like in some other cultures, like there's a lot of ingredients, but once you kind of are more familiar with them, you won't be so like, it's a mess. It's pretty quick to clean up. These are almost finished, and I'm going to put the rest, I was doing small batches, in a bowl, and put the slurry, remember the one I put hot peppers in? Let me tip it down a little bit. I wanted to show you, when you leave cornstarch for a second, you might know, it's like, is this right? Is this correct? The first time I made a slurry, I was like, oh, it's so thick. Now this isn't as thick, but I'm gonna go over and add it to our orange sauce. And then that sauce will become thicker. And let me tell you, that orange sauce smells mighty fine. Okay, I'm gonna wait until Thane comes home, because once you put the sauce on, you want to keep the chicken crispy. The sauce is delicious and worth it. And then I'm gonna pour it right over here. And then we'll just have our rice and broccoli to go with it. Yummy. Okay, chicken is all finished, and so is the sauce. I put that little slurry in there. See how much thicker it is? And I'm telling you what, it smells really good. So we're going to just pour it over because Thane is home. And it's time to eat, y'all. So let me get every last little bit. Now, you could just buy a jar of this stuff. I've done it. It tastes fine. But this tastes legit. And then you just give it a little toss. That way, if you do this at the last couple of minutes, it stays crispy and yet there's sauce on it. That's what cornstarch does, and the egg white too. So I hope you'll try it, and manja. By the way, you don't have to use chicken thighs. You can use chicken breasts. Heck, you can even buy frozen ones and go from there. Just make this orange sauce because it's so delicious.